It's the Greater Wealth here on Edge Radio Australia. Absolute pleasure, as always, every single week. It is the man behind Blue Sky Factory, the man who can, well, basically, look, what he doesn't know about finances, what he doesn't know about the great collision between politics and finance. Mate, it's not worth knowing. The man here looking at me right now from the screen down here, it is Garrett Whitaker. Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, it's always great to see you, Aaron. Your studio's looking great, building out in this building season. I'm doing it, you're doing it, building towards new tomorrows. I love it.
Hey, look, it is the season for it. We are growing very, very well, and I'm very proud of that. But I'm also obviously proud to have the Greater Wealth as a wonderful show and as a stalwart of this, Edge Radio Australia.
Thank you, man. Hey, I thought we'd go a different tack today, if that's all right by you, rather than looking at what's happening on the political side, so to speak. I mean, there might, obviously that always comes into it, but I really want to address this whole idea of work. Now, with AI, a lot of people saying, and Elon in particular, that we won't need to work. There'll be no need to work. Have a listen to what Elon is saying here, and it really is interesting. For those who don't know what universal basic income is, it's a concept that it will be like, I don't know, getting Centrelink or getting family tax A and B, a payment towards your income, but it will be around the globe, around the world, and people will receive that rather than work because AI and the robots are doing all the work for us. Take a listen.
Is one of abundance, where goods and services are available to anyone. There's no shortage of goods and services for anyone on earth. I think that is the most likely outcome. So it wouldn't be universal basic income, it would be universal high income.
Work will be optional.
Work optional, yes.
Will you work?
I'll try to work, yes. Now, this may sound great, but I think there will perhaps be a crisis of meaning. If the AI can do everything that you can do, but better, then what is the point of doing things? So I think there will be a bit of a sort of existential crisis of why do anything.
It will be like the Roman Empire at the peak of the Roman Empire.
So this is really interesting. He is addressing in this, is there a need to work? And if we don't work, what is the social outcome of that? What does that do to the individual as far as where they are positioned? And I think it's a really, really deep psychological question because I think we are designed as humanity to actually work. Now, most people hate their jobs. And I think that's a whole different issue, Aaron, where, the Australian Institute of Management back in 2016 did a report saying that they discovered in their findings that 80% of Australians were looking for better work opportunities. In other words, you read between the lines, they don't like what they're doing currently. And so that was the common theme that I heard when I was working in the high-end law, accounting, financial planning firms all the time. People going, I want financial freedom. I want to be able to do what I want to do. And it was defined differently for very different individuals. You had to go, well, what is financial freedom to you? What does that look like? What does that mean? But the theme kept coming through. And I don't think that, you got to remember too, retirement, the concept of retirement is a very new idea. It only came around in the late 1800s. Von Bismarck introduced it because the working age, people were living longer. And so what we've got to look here is, I don't think it's healthy for people to work to this end goal. I'm going to retire by whatever age, and I'm going to sit around and do nothing. It just messes with the psychology of it. And even the way the financial industry sets it up concerns me, where they reverse engineer it, right? You hear financial planners go, how much do you want to retire on? And the concept with that is you accumulate so much wealth that you'll have that. And then it's kind of like, well, what age do you actually die? And will you run out of money at that point? Particularly if it's not producing cash flow. It's just a big pot of money just sitting there that drawing down on. And I think that's the interesting concept here. But I believe that we are meant and designed to work. And it's being highlighted right now because of artificial intelligence. The outcomes that it's doing and replacing jobs and disrupting industries is already starting to happen. Majority of people aren't aware of this, can't see it yet, but it's already started.
Of course it has. Yeah, no doubt about it. But here's the thing though. You do, if people haven't worked for a long time, you tend to lose value in yourself. Working is an important part of who you are. It's a part of your identity. When you meet someone, they kind of say, what do you do? Well, they're not asking you your hobbies or your passions, are they? they're asking you what you do for a living. Now, don't get me wrong, it would be great if they asked me about my hobbies and my passions. But the reality is that is what defines you in this modern world. And we are living longer, and having like purpose to your life has got to be at the forefront. So a universal income to me, I can see, look, I can see the shiny, happy side of that. I can see the fact that people are going to have holidays and this and that and relax and maybe less stress in life. But I don't know. To me, I can see long term a lot of problems.
I think it's idealistic. I don't actually think it'll work because, excuse me, I don't think it'll work because we're designed to work. We're designed to produce. We're designed to create. And we serve a very clever and creative creator. And I think we're to mimic that. And yet there is a moment where we do rest. Okay, we work 6 days, at least works at rest on 7. We should be following that model. A Sabbath day of rest is where that concept came from. And so why we have weekends. I mean, it's fact. You look at the Nazis actually tried to have a 10-day working week, but people couldn't sustain it, right? It was just
Is that
too
right?
much. And so it's really, really interesting how 7 days is the model. Have a look at this one from one of the big motivators in the industry, in the seminar industry, Tony Robinson. He's got a...
You've just frozen there, mate. I've lost you for a tick. So what I might do is I'll hit the old play button and we'll watch what Tony Robinson's got to say.
Where we're going to have so much stuff that work is going to be optional. Some people are talking about universal basic income. Are we just going to hand out money to people?
If Elon's right, if this all works out the way that these are talking about in the next 3 to 5, or I'll call it, say, 3 to 10 years, where labor becomes like electricity and it's not as valued, and we figure out how we're going to have people provide UBI. The problem with UBI, in my opinion, is you're probably going to have to do it because of the speed, but it's not going to be enough because money doesn't give you meaning, right? Your work gives you meaning. It's like, what produces self-esteem? I hate the term. It's overused. Your self-esteem is not tied to what people tell you. Self-esteem is earned by yourself. Esteem for yourself is earned by yourself. It's earned by doing difficult things. Those difficult things don't have to be a job with money. They might be difficult things of bringing wisdom to the world, or creativity, or art, or music, or insight, or storytelling, or whatever the case may be. But we have to do something that challenges us. It's like we both have some decent muscles. Why do we have muscles? Because we work out. If you don't use it, you lose it. And if you make a larger demand over and over again, you hit not, I'm going to have 10 curls that are easy. If I'm going to take 10 curls and the 10th one is unbelievably impossible, what do? You do 13 curls, right? And you barely do that last one and you get all the growth and when you go beyond what you're comfortable with. So we need still something that's going to pull us forward, and UBI will not be enough. UBI, attacks on robots, all those things, I think they're going to happen because the transition time is so fast. But I think for people to have meaning, they're going to have to find other ways. I think we're going to have to make that shift. Now, not everyone's going to make that real smoothly and easily, obviously. That's the challenge. And that's when I talk about the whole idea of not just retooling skills, but retooling our mind for the hero's journey that we're all on.
You know, something that concerns me, and it's an elephant in the room here, is people who maybe who don't have the capability to step up on a physical, a spiritual, a psychological way here. Are we going to see like a massive spike in crime? People are bored.
You know, it's a great question. I've noticed that when people are bored, they get up to mischief. It's like kids, right? You got to keep them occupied. Otherwise, they fulfill that boredom through something else. And look, I think you raise a really relevant issue. I don't think it's going to be healthy for anyone to be sitting at home and just have money come walking in. Got to work towards something, and I'll show you that on a different level in a moment. But yeah, Aaron, you're absolutely right. That concept, and I don't think it'll actually happen. I'll give you this reason. When people invented like the washing machine, you know, we used to have those boards that they would scrub the clothes on and this sort of stuff. And, you know, washing machine would have been sold, and look at how much time this is going to save you. Computing, you know, we got that. You know, look how much time it's going to save you from an administrative level and this sort of thing. We actually find things to fill our days with. We don't actually stop working. We don't actually stop doing things. It's our human nature to actually doing things. I mean, I know for some people who get frustrated if they're not working with their hands and creating things, right? They're just sitting there people who are wired to fix things and do things right, the last thing they want to do is sit in an office on a computer all day. And
So
they're
true.
designed to do that. And I think it's really important that we actually come back to purpose. You hear me talk about life purpose. What is the meaning to your life? It's different. The journey you're on is different from me. But there's got to be a meaning in it. Everybody needs significance. Everybody needs to know their contribution matters and counts in life. And to some are allotted much and some are allotted not as much. That's okay. As long as you are faithful in what you have been allotted. That is the critical key here. And I think that's the thing. You're not competing against someone else. You're in your own lane here. And
Look,
if we
I'm going to say something that's going to upset. I'll say something here that's going to upset the Albanese mob. Okay, socialism, communism doesn't work. Why?
No.
Because we're not all the same. We have different capabilities. We have different desires. We have different strengths, obviously, but we also have different drives. Some of us are driven to create. Some of us are driven to build. All that sort of thing. You know, some people aren't, and that's why communism, socialism doesn't work. You know, and I see what does concern me greatly on the, I don't know, the big picture, the ideology here is that, okay, universal income and socialism, communism, to me they go hand in hand. That concerns me.
Oh, totally. They're just one step away from the other. Socialism is a stepping stone to communism. Absolutely right, Aaron.
Well, to my mind, socialism is the Diet Coke of communism, all right? You're almost there, okay? You're getting the chemicals into you, you're getting the nasties into you, you're just not quite there. And communism obviously is the ultimate step there.
Well, the model shows us it doesn't work. History shows that and demonstrates that big time. I mean, people would argue with China it works. Well, I would argue that China is not strictly communist. It's got a hybrid version of capitalism built into the communistic system. It's different. But at the same time, people are working and they really want their population to work because they've got an idea of being the biggest economy in the world. And so I think what we're seeing right now is that, you know, there is this concept you won't have to do anything. No, you just pivot and change. The ingenuity of humanity. People think that artificial intelligence will be smarter than humanity. Look, it may be able to do things faster in some regards and organize information a lot quicker. However, there is a part of creativity in humanity that just keeps rising to the surface. I saw it during the years of the Biden era where everybody was, you know, facing mandates. And there was a sector of society that was trying to figure out how to get around these sort of things. It was creativity that was coming on, that was always a step ahead of where legislation could go. But that's always been the ingenuity of business, where government legislation always follows the creativity of the designers, right? It never is in front or the forefront of it. And I've got a brilliant example of that coming up for you right here. This is from a guy called Dr. Kevin Zadai. Now, Dr. Kevin Zadai is a guy who teaches how to live in the natural world, but also in the supernatural world, bringing the two together. I love his teaching. I have learned so much from this guy. He's one of my heroes that I follow. But this morning I was watching this and going, this is so significant to what we are facing in society now. Have a listen to this first clip from him regarding leadership and also where this ties
are people
going in society
that shine when no one else acts. A hero is somebody who's ready when everyone else is waiting for someone to do something. The person who emerges is the person who was prepared for the moment. It's the same way with business. It's forward looking. You anticipate what is going to be needed. You anticipate it. It's a forward looking. It's the algorithms that are in the missiles. The cheetah is the one that got those algorithms. If you look her up, I forget her name. She was a female cheetah. They clocked her at 90 miles an hour. They used the algorithms of her leading the target. So she didn't run behind. They always offset. And those algorithms cause the correction to be minimal. She touched the ground. Listen, she touched the ground every 22 feet on her run, which meant she was in the air half of the time on her run. The cheetah was. Look her up. I forget her name. Do you remember her name? fastest cheetah they clocked. Anyway, she led the target, just like you do in fighter jets and the algorithms that are in missiles. They got missiles now where it's really hard to beat them. When you get fired upon, it's just better just to punch out and walk home. Because there's now the mathematics of that. But the cheetah, you ever watched them? They don't run in a straight line. They offset. Can you see God using you that way, where you kind of like parallel and offset, and you have a target, but you're forward leading it? See, the missile's actually going to where you're going to be. The cheetah is really going to where the target is going to be, and she is actually working it out so there's not a lot of movement. No matter what the target does, it's offset so that it's minimal movement and correction. Does everybody understand that? Why can't?
Well, look at that. That is about anticipation to such a big degree, isn't it? It's to anticipate your target. Now, a lot of things were brought up there, but you need to be a person of action. We need leaders. And I think that if you're going to have a world where everybody's on a basic income, everybody's very much controlled, everybody's another brick in the wall, to coin the phrase from the song, then it's going to kill innovation. It is going to kill leaders. It is going to kill the desire to be the person who anticipates the next move, right?
Aaron, I think this is so incredible what he's saying here, that the cheetah is ahead and curves ahead of it, always ahead of it. If you're anticipating those kind of political circumstances or whatever it is in life, you can be 3 steps ahead. And that's what's exciting about this. And this is what I'm saying, with the whole age of AI coming, you want to thrive in it, be 3 steps ahead of the game. Be the disruptor. Be the one who is changing things. Be the one who meets the social need that is anticipated as it's about to come. That's where the opportunities are. And this is what I'm so excited about.
Well, I'm completely with you on this. Absolutely. Okay. There's no good in life reacting, or you've got to, I guess. But okay, if you truly want to move forward, you need to be ahead of the game, right?
Well, now, can I interrupt you on that for 1 second?
Absolutely.
Can I interrupt you on that? Rather than reacting, what I teach my students is it's better to respond. There's a difference.
I like that.
It's
I like that a lot.
Subtle difference. That. How do I respond to this situation rather than how do I react? Go ahead. Sorry.
No, damn, he's got me on the English lessons. Look at that. But I do actually agree with you. It's a soft use of language, but you bang on the money. I think that it's like this. Okay, for so many years, I was very happy running around with my Nokia phone. All right, in my great phone that I could make phone calls. I could do some funny little texts with. They were indestructible. Loved it to bits. Then this guy came along, all right, Jobs, and said, got a collection of people together, and then decided, no, guess what? The little Nokia, it's no good anymore. I'm going to take the game to the next level. I'm going to basically, everybody's going to walk around with a supercomputer in their hands. Now, if you don't have people who have got that forward thought of innovation, then the world does not move forward, And again, if you're I'm trying to think of a word that isn't inappropriate here, because the word I would normally use is very inappropriate. But okay, if you're going to, I'll clean it up. If you're going to neuter people, right? If you're going to take away their creativity and their drive and they're looking forward, then you're going to get a much smaller pool of those who are going to innovate, and that again creates more control. And there's a lot. I know I'm explaining myself badly. I hope you're getting what I'm trying to say here, mate, because I don't know. To me, right now, there's such a big pool of people who are innovators, who are thinkers, who are looking at ways forward. And I think that if we take away that impetus, that reason to work and work hard and to innovate, then I think that we'll push ourselves into a smaller space. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it makes sense what you're saying, but you know what? I don't think it'll happen, because I think humanity has a way of always coming through. Rewind the clock to 2022, right? And the world was looking very, very dim and dark and all this sort of stuff. Aaron, I kept saying to you, Aaron, it's getting better. Just wait to see what's happening. Look at what we saw change in 2025, right?
Yes.
And how the world is now a completely different place than it was back in 2022. We were staring down the barrel. The world looked worse. Things were going to get harder, etc.
Yeah.
Now there's hope. And I think this is the thing. This is the deliverance that is there that we have got to embrace and go, you know what? There is a way of the truth coming out, and the truth will set you free. And we're seeing this come through. I want to just point our direction to one other one. So Kevin Zadai, he is an incredible guy. He's had an ability to come from very difficult circumstances. He died on the dentist chair in his 30s. His story is this: he went to heaven, had a chat with Jesus, and basically came back with a whole different perspective of the world. Couldn't talk about it for 25 years as he worked for Southwest Airlines. And can you imagine when you see the contrast of heaven versus earth and the fallen earth and what it could be or should be? That's very difficult to live with. And he's come with this teaching of how to live in the natural and the supernatural at the same time. It's extraordinary looking at this. His ability to produce work is extraordinary, which you'll see in a minute. And this is not through the hustle or the side hustle that we all talk about, or the grind. This is a flow through the spirit. And it's really interesting. Look at the contrast that he has in terms of where most people are at and where he's going in this clip. Check this out.
In your life where you've planned it to be this way, and it may be the routing, it may be the equipment you have, but in your life you have to deal with what you have, and you have to realize that certain things are just going to be the way they are. If you drive your tractor to work, it's a certain speed, right? Versus a car. And if you drive your tractor to work, just so you know, everybody behind you is going to be going your speed too, just so you know, right? The point is this, is that I just want to leave you with this. I plan on everything being the way that it's supposed to be. And I plan out. Our schedule is through 2032 as far as our airplanes and our cities, our schedules are for 2032, because we have to schedule our maintenance and all our pilots. So our schedules are already to 2032 because we have to do that. So we have all of our slots for every month, twice a month, where we're going to be. We don't have all the hotels and stuff because they won't let us do that. But we have the slots, and we have all the maintenance, and all the pilots know these are the slots. They can look for years ahead in case they want to get married or something, So the ministry is already out that far. The courses and the books are scheduled out to 2064. So the books are already written. There's over 100 books already written that need edited that will be coming out till 2064. There are courses that are already listed on the schedule through 2064. So all the courses and all the books. So there's 127 or 30 books out, but there's another 200 and some coming out. And John Maxwell has 84 books out. That's the most in the world. But then somehow something happened with us. So we still have 200 that need to be published. All right, so we have that schedule because then it shows me every week, I gotta write this, I gotta film this. And so I'm good. I got one course I gotta do for 2027, but I already got am I right? I got 2027 completely filmed, and all the books are done, except for one course. And that's because I believe in work, and I filmed all last year for this year. I already put that ahead. So if I pass away, you will have courses and books till 2064. It'll be like I'm still here.
Well, Derek, you've gone mute on me there, so let's see if I can fix that. Let's have a look. Okay, talk to me, my friend.
Yeah, I got it. So this is what he's got: 40,000 people around the world in his Bible college, right? This guy, 3 corporate jets owned by outright. They fly him to fund what they do. The corporate jets, they do private charters and all this stuff. Like 50 grand a flight, this sort of stuff for companies and high end. He's also had a record on the top 10 number 2. I think did it go to number 1? I'm not sure, on the New Age Billboard charts. All right. Okay. I mean, self-taught and saxophones and all this sort of stuff. This guy operates at a whole different level, and it's extraordinary to see what they're accomplishing here. So why do I put this in here? What does he plan to do? Did you catch that word? It starts with W. Work.
Work.
This
I
is
did
a
hear
guy.
that. Look,
This is a guy
I
that
can't
doesn't.
believe how much this boy plans, but there we go.
Yeah, this guy doesn't need to work, right? They're
No.
building ranches across the United States for people to come and visit and learn and rest and all this sort of stuff. And horses and animals and all this sort of stuff. And this is the incredible thing here is they're contributing to society, okay? And I think this is what we've got to get in our mindset. Too many of us are thinking about what can I get out of the equation? Too many of us are thinking paycheck to paycheck. How can I survive to the next one? Too many business owners are thinking 4 weeks or quarterly. What can we achieve? They're not thinking, what are we going to be hitting in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, right? And I think this is the contrast between what Musk is saying, you won't need to work. It'll be universal income. Will you work, Elon? Well, I'm going to try to. Through to, hey, we're planning all the way up to 2064. That's extraordinary. And so the contrast here is massive, Aaron. And I think that's how we've got to think.
I
Think
agree.
beyond yourself.
I often complain about this when it comes to politics. Okay, in politics now, you've got a situation where politicians think from election to election. There's no statesmen anymore. There's no people who want to build great projects that are going to do the greater good for a long term for generations to come. Because all they're doing is making sure that they butter their bread and look after themselves until the next election. I look at that and I think the guy's talking about preparing till 2064. That is creating a legacy, isn't it? And I think that every person, in my honest opinion, we should all be chasing a legacy in our life. We should all be trying to create something that lives on well beyond us.
Yeah, and I think too many people don't want to do that W word, and that's work, right?
Yeah.
And if you're in flow, if you're in your life purpose, it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like a strain or I've got to get up. I'm putting incredible hours in lately. I love it. I'm having the time of my life. I'm enjoying it because I can see where things are going. I can see a future in it. And I think that's the biggest thing is, guys, don't stop working. Don't feel like, I'm going to get to retirement and that's it. No. What is it you want to leave to the next generation? What contribution do you want to make? That is so critical to think like that.
Absolutely. I do. I think that work is part of your identity. It's as simple as that. I think that people have often said to me, because, I'm getting on a little bit now and people go, Aaron, are you thinking about your retirement in, a decade or so and then some? I'm not that old, but, it's there on the horizon. But it's something I should be thinking about. And now here's the thing. I can't think of anything I would want to do less than sitting on a beach doing absolutely nothing. I would be bored out of my brain, right? Retirement for me will need a lot of adrenaline. So probably the best option is just keep working because, again, it gives purpose, it gives meaning. It is life purpose. Life purpose should be central to why you get up every single day, why you get out of that bed, why you go out and join the world. You really should be looking at how you contribute and, again, what you're creating for the future. And if you're just chasing a magic figure of retirement where, I'm going to be able to sit there and do nothing, trust me, you'll be bored out of your brain.
Absolutely. And it's been said the world needs you to do your assignment. And that was by a multi-millionaire who built $1 billion company. I heard him say that. And I thought he's absolutely right. The world needs you doing your assignment right now. And I think if you are shooting beyond what your lifespan is, how does that change the way you treat your body? How does it change your dietary habits? How does it change your exercise habits? How does it change the relationships you build today with family, with friends? You're shooting far beyond just me focused and I want to retire by this age. It's a totally different game changer.
Okay. To spin this a little bit towards what you guys are doing at Blue Sky Factory, because I want to ask, because you've pivoted a lot, let's be honest, right? You've really changed a lot about what you're doing. About embracing AI, for argument's sake, and moving forward with that. So, okay, can you give me, I don't want obviously specific examples, but okay, in general terms, how do I embrace AI to still keep on doing what I do, creating as I create, building what I want to build, but also be ahead of the game, right?
I'm really about, when teaching students about wealth creation, it's about developing systems. Like when they come and do our trading course and stuff like that and learning that, I educate them on how professional traders build systems to trade by. It's system-based learning type stuff. It's the same for business owners. To get a certain outcome from A to B, whether it be a product or a service, a system workflow has to occur, the old assembly line of some description, okay? And this is what AI can make you do, is bring it to the market faster and also more cheaply. The costs that you would have had to do 10 years ago to what I'm working on now just would blow budgets out. I am finally getting to build things that I couldn't do 10 years ago because the expertise wasn't there as well.
Yeah.
And what it can enable you to do is adopt expertise that you don't necessarily have, but can input into your business or project that you didn't have access to before. And that gives you leverage. That gives you the ability to pivot far more beyond what you could do beforehand. And so as we start to move into the AI, the industrial revolution of AI, we are teaching at Blue Sky Factory people how to have skills to adapt to that environment and to also build and fulfill their life purpose in the process. That's what's really exciting about this.
It is very exciting. And you've said this before, and I really want to lean on this bit, if I may. This is a second industrial revolution. It really is. I don't think, obviously we're talking about 200 odd years ago, the massive acceleration of what took place. And this is happening faster. This really is. The tech is just changed so much. I think about the AI I was using 6 months ago compared to today. It is just chalk and cheese. Yes. And that's what I've got access to. You can imagine what other people have got access to. So look, this conversation we're having now, in a month's time, how much further would things have moved? So if you're not grabbing hold of it, whether you like it, love it, can't stand it, the reality is the toothpaste is out of the tube. And right now is the time to make it work for you. It is another tool. It is just the same as, again, you use the analogy about the washing machine, all right? Well, guess what? My washing is in the machine right now. It's going round and round and round. It's doing its thing. And I'm here talking to you rather. I'm not, dragging that across some sort of, archaic rock. So things move on, tech moves on, and how you utilize it is completely up to you. But you're best to use it to your advantage and use it to step forward.
Absolutely. And I think, a friend of mine has said this, who's working with me on the AI side of things, a guy called Darren Good. He said, we're at the tipping point right now. The AI has got to a point where in the last 6 months, it's gotten so much better in what it's capable of. Can you imagine where it's going to be in another 6 months? Because it's continually learning and learning at a rapid rate. The crazy thing about AI, which I'm doing, is teaching it how to learn. Okay. I want you to take this and now do that. And it starts now intuitively anticipating what I'm going to prompt it and this sort of stuff. It's incredible what it's doing. So look, pivoting absolutely is the key here. But it's going to be a whole different ball game in 12 months' time. We're going to look back at this conversation and go, boy, if we only had any idea.
No, we'll think we're so clever now, but in 12 months we'll look like fools. And happy to do so. I'm happy for the world to progress in a way that moving forward, that's what we need to do. We need to innovate. We need to move forward. Mate, if people want to get in touch with you and actually want to do some of your courses about wealth creation or AI or some of the other things that you cover, where can they find you?
BlueSkyFactory.com, no E in blue, but listen, they can pick what they want to do, whether it be wealth, they can go to the Wealth Academy, they can go to the Business Academy or the AI Academy, pick whatever is interest to them because everybody's different. We've got free courses in there for them to take, and there's something in there for everybody.
Well, I'll be very honest with you. A few minutes ago, I had a look, I don't know, probably about an hour ago now. I actually had a look at your new site. It's looking very flash, mate. You're looking very good.
Built through AI, right? I don't know a line of coding, and that's what we've been able to create. It's crazy.
That is fantastic. All right. Well, thank you very much, mate. We will catch up next week, same time, 1 p.m. every Monday here. And of course, you can catch the replay on Sunday at 4 p.m. on edgeradioaustralia.com. And that's for the audio. But if you want to watch the video, hey, be a absolute superstar. Go out there, like, subscribe, share this with your friends, and away we go. Thank you very much for being part of the Greater Wealth here on Edge Radio Australia.